I never expected my life to fall apart on a quiet Tuesday night. When I unlocked the front door, I whispered, "Ethan, I'm home early." I didn't hear his usual reply. Instead, I heard soft laughter, light, familiar, and far too intimate. My heart tightened as I stepped inside. "Hello?" I called, trying to sound normal even though something felt wrong. The laughter stopped instantly. I walked toward the living room, and the moment I turned the corner, my stomach dropped. What is this?" I whispered. Ethan was standing way too close to my younger sister, Lily. His hand was on her waist. Her face was turned up toward him like she had every right to look at him that way. When they saw me, they jumped apart, but the damage was already done. I froze in the doorway, unable to breathe. Lily rushed forward first. "Wait, it's not what you think. Don't," I said, raising my hand. My voice cracked. "Don't insult me like that." Ethan stepped toward me. "Listen, I can explain." "Just calm down." "Calm down?" I laughed, and it sounded broken. "My husband is holding my sister like she belongs to him, and you want me to calm down." Lily grabbed her sweater. "Please just listen." "It wasn't planned. We didn't mean—" "How long?" I asked. My throat burned. "Just tell me how long." They both went silent. Ethan looked at the floor. Lily stared at the wall. Neither of them even tried to answer me. That hurt more than anything. Their silence felt like a knife. "Wow," I whispered. "So it's been long enough for both of you to be ashamed." Ethan shook his head. "It's not like that. I swear I still love you." "Love?" I repeated. "That's the word you're choosing?" He reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "Don't touch me." Lily tried again. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't want this to happen. I didn't mean to hurt you." "You didn't mean to?" I stared at her. "You're my sister. I trusted you with everything. And this is what you were doing behind my back." She started crying. "Please, it's not what you think." "It's exactly what I think," I snapped. "Do you think I'm blind?" Ethan raised his voice. "Stop twisting everything. You walked in at the wrong moment. So what's the right moment?" I asked. "When you kiss her? When you take her to our bed?" "Tell me, Ethan, what was I supposed to walk in on?" He had no answer. My chest tightened so hard I felt dizzy. I whispered, "You both make me sick." Lily reached toward me again. "Please don't leave. We can talk. There's nothing to talk about." Ethan blocked the doorway. "Where are you going?" "Away from both of you," I said. "Move." "No," he said. "We're fixing this." I stared at him, stunned that he still thought he had control over me. "You don't get to fix anything," I whispered. "You broke it." "You broke me." Something inside me cracked, and suddenly I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. Completely done. I pushed past him and walked toward the door. Behind me, they both called my name again and again. "Please don't go. We can explain. It's not what you think." I said stop. My voice echoed through the house. "Just stop lying." I grabbed my keys with shaking hands. My vision blurred with tears, but I refused to cry in front of them. I wouldn't give them that. As I stepped outside, the cold air hit my face like a slap, but it felt cleaner than the air inside that house. I didn't look back. I didn't want to see the people who had ruined the life I thought I had. When I closed the door behind me, I knew one thing for sure. I had lost my husband. And I had lost my sister. But the hardest part was realizing I had never truly had either of them at all. I walked for so long that my legs started to ache, but I didn't stop. I kept whispering the same thing over and over. How could they do this to me? Every step felt heavier than the last. I didn't even realize where I was going until I looked up and saw Emily's apartment building. My hand shook as I pressed her doorbell. The door flew open. Emily's eyes widened. "What happened? Why do you look like that?" I tried to speak, but my throat closed up. Tears filled my eyes. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Come inside." She grabbed my arm and pulled me in gently. "Talk to me, please." I dropped onto her couch, burying my face in my hands. "I saw them," I choked out. "Who?" she asked softly. "Saw who?" "Ethan," I whispered. "And Lily?" She froze. "What do you mean saw them?" "They were together," I said, my voice shaking. "In my living room, he was holding her. She was smiling at him like she belonged there." Emily cursed under her breath and sat next to me. "Tell me everything." I wiped my face with trembling fingers. I walked in and they jumped apart. I asked them how long it's been going on. They didn't answer, not one word. They just stood there looking guilty. Emily's jaw tightened. That bastard. I laughed weakly, even though it hurt. I kept thinking maybe I misunderstood. Maybe there's some other explanation. But there isn't. I saw it. No one deserves that, she said. I shook my head. I feel stupid. I trusted both of them. I never imagined this. My voice cracked again. What did I do wrong? Emily grabbed my hands. You didn't do anything wrong. They did. My phone buzzed loudly in my pocket. I flinched. Emily frowned. Is that him? Yeah, I whispered. Ethan keeps calling. My fingers trembled as I stared at the screen. He won't stop. Block him, Emily said. He doesn't get access to you right now. I know, I whispered. I can't believe this is happening. Emily reached out. Give me the phone. I handed it to her without thinking. She tapped a few buttons. Done. He's blocked. A wave of panic hit me. What if he needs to explain? He had a chance, she said, firm but gentle. He didn't take it. I leaned back and stared at the ceiling, tears slipping down my temples. I keep hearing Lily's voice. I keep seeing Ethan standing next to her. Every time I close my eyes, it's there. Emily scooted closer. I'm here, okay? You don't have to go through this alone. I feel empty, I whispered. Like something inside me broke and I can't fix it. That's normal, she said softly. But you won't feel like this forever. I shook my head. I don't even know who I am without them. I lost my husband in 1 second. And my sister, I thought she loved me. Emily sighed. Someone who loves you doesn't destroy you behind your back. I spent years defending her, I whispered. I helped her with everything. And she stabbed me in the back. Emily wrapped a blanket around my shoulders. You're safe here. You can stay as long as you want. I held the blanket tight. I don't know how to breathe right now. I don't know how to pull myself together. You don't have to figure out everything tonight, she said. Just rest. But I couldn't rest. I sat there staring at the dark TV screen, watching my reflection flicker back at me. I looked like a stranger, a broken stranger. Emily placed a mug of warm tea in my hands. Drink, she whispered. I took a shaky sip. I feel like a part of me died tonight. Emily squeezed my shoulder. Maybe it did. But maybe that part needed to die so you can finally become someone stronger. I looked at her, tears streaming again. I don't feel strong. You will, she said. But for tonight, just let yourself cry. And I did. I cried until the sky outside turned black and the night swallowed my voice. I had barely slept when I heard loud knocking echo through Emily's apartment. My heart dropped the moment I recognized the voice calling my name. Please open the door, Ethan begged. I need to talk to you. Emily shot me a questioning look, and I whispered, I don't want to see him. But Ethan kept pleading, voice cracking through the wooden frame, and Emily finally sighed. I'll open it, but you stay behind me, she murmured. The door swung open, and Ethan stepped in with eyes swollen like he hadn't slept either. I'm sorry, he stuttered. Please, just listen. I shook my head. Why are you here? I needed to explain, he said, reaching out, but I jerked my hand away. I messed up. That's your explanation? I asked. You messed up? I was lonely, he whispered. The words sliced deeper than anything I saw last night. Lonely? I repeated. While I was working to support us, while I trusted you with my whole life. Ethan took a shaky breath. It wasn't planned. It just happened. Lily, I snapped. Don't say her name. Emily stepped closer, arms crossed. You shouldn't even be here, she said coldly. I have to fix this, Ethan insisted. I can't lose her. You already did, I whispered, my voice trembling. You lost me the moment you touched her. I swear it didn't mean anything, he said, eyes watering. It meant enough for both of you to laugh like I was the joke in the room, I said. My chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe. Ethan stepped forward again. Please, just come home with me. We can talk there. I'm not going back, I said firmly, ever. Ethan froze. Don't say that. Don't throw away our whole life. You threw it away, I whispered. Not me. Emily placed a hand on my shoulder and said, She asked you to leave. I'm talking to my wife, Ethan snapped. Not anymore, Emily shot back. You don't get to claim her after what you did. He rubbed his forehead, pacing like he was the victim here. It was a mistake, he said again. I told you I was lonely, I whispered. So you chose Lily? I didn't choose her, it just happened. That's worse, I said. If you had chosen her over me, at least it would show thought. But you didn't think at all. Ethan looked desperate. Can we please sit and talk? Just 10 minutes. I'll explain everything. There's nothing you can say, I whispered. Nothing that will make last night less real. Emily stepped between us. She asked you to leave, she repeated. Ivan's voice cracked. I can't lose you. You already did, I said again. He froze, staring at me like he was just now understanding it. Then he whispered, please, one last time. But Emily pushed the door open wider. You need to go, she said. Ethan hesitated, tears sliding down his face. But finally he stepped out into the hall. I'm not giving up, he whispered before the door shut. The moment the lock clicked, my legs gave out. I sank to the floor, clutching my chest as sobs tore out of me. Why wasn't I enough? I whispered. Emily knelt beside me, wrapping her arms around my shaking form. You were more than enough, she said softly. Cheaters cheat because of who they are, not because something is missing in you. I buried my face in my hands. I can't go back there, Emily. I can't look at that house. I can't look at anything that reminds me of him or her. Then don't, she said. Stay here as long as you need. We'll figure it out together. I nodded slowly, wiping my tears. That moment I made my choice. I'm not going back, I whispered again. Not ever. I woke up feeling nauseous again, and Emily immediately noticed my pale face when I stumbled into the kitchen. You look awful, she said gently. I whispered, it's just stress, but she shook her head firmly. No, this is something else. I tried drinking water, but the smell made my stomach twist. Okay, what is happening to me? I muttered, leaning over the counter. Emily stepped closer and asked, when was your last period? I blinked at her, suddenly frozen. I don't know, I whispered. Her voice softened even more. I'm going to get a test, I protested instantly. Emily, no, it's not that, but she had already grabbed her keys. If I don't check, I'll go insane, she said before shutting the door. Waiting for her felt like waiting for something terrible I already sensed deep inside me. When she returned, she handed me a small bag and said, go. I'll be right here. My hands shook as I walked into the bathroom. Please don't let this be happening, I whispered to myself. Inside, I opened the test with trembling fingers. I followed the instructions, placed it on the counter, and stared at it, unable to breathe. Just one line, I whispered. Please. But when the second line began to appear, my vision blurred. I backed up until I hit the wall, sliding down to the cold floor. Why now? I whispered. Why after everything? My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear myself breathing. The test lay on the counter, glowing like some cruel truth I wasn't ready for. Emily knocked softly. Are you okay? I couldn't speak. She opened the door gently and found me sitting there. Talk to me, she whispered. I lifted the test with shaking hands. Her eyes widened. Oh God, you're pregnant, I whispered. I can't do this. Emily wrapped her arms around me as I tried to control my breathing. You're not alone, she said softly. Whatever happens next, I'm here, I whispered. I don't know how to feel. I'm scared. I'm angry. I'm lost. She wiped my tears. Let's go to a clinic. You need to know how far along you are. I nodded weakly, feeling like I was moving through fog. We drove in silence, my hands gripping my knees so tightly they hurt. What am I going to do? I murmured. Inside the clinic, I felt like everyone could see my trembling. Emily squeezed my hand. It's okay, she whispered. When the nurse called my name, my legs felt heavy. I followed her into the small room, trying to steady my breath. Dr. Harper walked in with a calm, warm smile. Tell me what brings you today, I whispered. I took a test. She nodded gently. Let's take a look. When she started the ultrasound, I held my breath. The screen lit up with something tiny I wasn't ready to see. You're about 5 weeks, Dr. Harper said softly. My heart stopped. 5? I whispered. She nodded. You'll need support. This is a big moment. I nodded weakly but couldn't speak. My eyes stung again, and she placed a hand on my shoulder. Whatever you choose, make sure it's your choice. When we left, the air felt too bright. Emily walked beside me quietly, giving me space to process. I finally whispered, I can't let Ethan anywhere near this baby. She nodded instantly. You don't have to. I wrapped my arms around myself, feeling protective in a way I didn't expect. I don't know how to do this, I said. Emily replied, you'll learn. And you won't be alone, I whispered. This feels like my life is breaking and rebuilding at the same time. She smiled softly. Maybe this is your new beginning. As we walked back to the car, I placed a hand over my stomach. I'm terrified, I whispered. But somewhere beneath the fear, something small and determined stirred inside me. I wasn't ready, but the decision was already forming in my heart. I'm going to protect this baby, I whispered. Emily nodded. And I'll protect you. I needed stability, I needed money. I needed something that didn't hurt. So when Emily handed me a job listing and whispered, try this one, I didn't argue. Daniel Reed Enterprises. A massive company. A strict CEO. A reputation for firing people over a misplaced comma. I almost backed out, but Emily squeezed my shoulders. You need a fresh start? When I walked into the building for the interview, my palms were already sweating. The elevator ride to the top floor felt endless. Just breathe, I whispered to myself, but the moment I stepped into the waiting room, nausea hit me again. Not now, I muttered, pressing a hand to my stomach. Are you here for the interview? A man asked. I nodded. He smiled warmly. I'm Mark, Mr. Reed's assistant. He'll see you soon. I tried to smile back, but my nerves were unraveling fast. When Mark led me into Daniel Reed's office, my breath hitched. Daniel sat behind a massive desk, sharp features, dark suit, eyes cold but strangely focused. He looked up at me. Sit. His voice was low, firm, and steady. Thank you, I whispered, sitting down carefully. My hands were shaking so badly I hid them under the desk. Daniel's eyes narrowed slightly. Are you all right? He asked. I swallowed hard. Yes, just nervous. He leaned back. Most people are. Tell me why you're here. I opened my mouth, but another wave of nausea rolled through me. I covered it with a cough. My voice cracked. I need stability. I can work hard. I learn fast. I just need a chance. Daniel studied me silently, and I felt completely exposed. You look like you're about to pass out, he said finally. Are you sure you're well enough to work? My heart raced. I can do this, I whispered. Please. Something flickered in his eyes, something I didn't expect. Not coldness. Something almost like concern. He closed the file in front of him. You're hired. I blinked at him. What? Mark looked shocked too. Sir? Shouldn't we? Daniel cut him off. I said she's hired. Get her paperwork. Then he turned to me. You start tomorrow. When I stepped out of the office, Mark whispered, I've never seen him hire someone that fast. I didn't know what to say. I felt dizzy, overwhelmed, relieved. The next day, I tried to hide my morning sickness, but halfway through organizing files, I barely made it to the bathroom in time. When I came back, Mark looked worried. Are you sure you're okay? I can get you water. I'm fine, I whispered. Just adjusting. Later, Daniel called me into his office. Close the door, he said. My heart jumped. Did I mess up? I asked quietly. No, he said. But you don't look fine. His voice softened just a little. If you need a break, take it. I can keep working, I said quickly. He studied me again, and I felt seen in a way that scared me. You're shaking, he pointed out. Sit. I sat. He handed me a small pack of crackers from his drawer. Eat something. I stared at it. Why are you being nice? His jaw tightened for a moment. People work better when they're not on the verge of collapsing. I let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. Thank you, I whispered. He nodded once. Get back to work when you're ready. When I left his office, Mark grinned. He likes you, he whispered. I shook my head. No, he's just being professional, but deep down I felt something strange. A quiet safety I hadn't felt in a long time. And I didn't know what to do with it. I was sorting files at my desk when I heard a voice I never wanted to hear again. Anna? My whole body froze. I turned slowly, and there he was, Ethan. His eyes were red like he hadn't slept. My stomach twisted painfully. What are you doing here? I whispered. He stepped closer. I had to talk to you. Please just listen. My breath quickened. How did you even find this place? I asked around, he said. Emily wouldn't tell me anything, but someone else did. I felt the panic rising in my chest. You shouldn't be here. I need you, he said, voice cracking. I miss you. I messed up, okay? Just come home. Don't. My voice shook. Don't say things you don't mean. I do mean them, he insisted. I made a stupid mistake. A mistake? I whispered. You called cheating on me with my sister a mistake? His jaw tightened. It wasn't what you think. I laughed softly, bitterly. Then tell me what it was, Ethan. Explain it. Before he could answer, Daniel's office door opened. Is there a problem? Daniel asked, stepping out. His voice was calm but sharp enough to slice the air. Ethan stiffened. Who are you? My boss, I said quietly. Daniel moved beside me, standing close enough that I felt a wall form at my side. I'm here to speak to my wife, Ethan said firmly. Ex-wife, I corrected, my voice barely a whisper. Ethan's eyes widened. Anna, don't do this. She asked you a question, Daniel said. Is there a problem? Ethan tried to grab my arm, but Daniel stopped him with one step forward. Don't touch her, Ethan glared. Stay out of this. Daniel didn't move. She works here. That makes it my business. I swallowed hard, shaking. Ethan, please go. No, he said desperately. We can fix this. I swear Lily pushed herself on me. She kept coming over, she kept flirting, I cut him off. Stop blaming her. You still chose to betray me. I love you, he whispered. I shook my head slowly. You broke something that can't be fixed. He froze, breathing heavily like he didn't expect to hear those words. Anna, don't throw us away. You did that, I whispered. Not me. Daniel stepped even closer, his voice colder now. Leave, Ethan pointed at him. You think she cares about you? She's my wife. Daniel's eyes hardened. She doesn't seem to want to go with you. I'm trying to fix things, Ethan snapped. You're harassing one of my employees, Daniel replied. You can leave on your own, or I can call security. Ethan turned back to me, ignoring Daniel completely. Please, just talk to me for 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I don't owe you anything, I whispered. His expression shattered. You're really doing this after everything we've been through? A tear slipped down my cheek. After everything you destroyed. He looked between me and Daniel, eyes filled with a mix of anger and desperation. So this is it? You're just done? I nodded slowly. I am. He took a shaky breath. I didn't think you'd give up on us so easily. I straightened my shoulders. I didn't give up. You did. For a moment, Ethan said nothing. His lips trembled like he wanted to say more, but nothing came out. Finally, he looked at Daniel again. You think you're protecting her, but you have no idea what she's really like. Daniel didn't even blink. I know enough. Ethan let out a bitter breath. Fine. He stepped back. But you'll regret this, Anna. You will. I flinched, but Daniel shifted slightly, blocking Ethan's view of me. Don't come back, Daniel said. Ethan glared at both of us before walking away. When he finally disappeared around the corner, my legs gave out a little. I grabbed the edge of a desk to steady myself. Daniel touched my elbow gently. Are you all right? I nodded, though my voice wavered. Thank you. I wasn't going to let him near you, he said quietly. For the first time since everything fell apart, I felt something warm settle in my chest. Someone was actually protecting me. Daniel asked me to meet him in a private room at the office. My stomach churned with nerves, but I didn't protest. Emily had insisted I go. When I stepped inside, the door closed softly behind me. The quiet was strange, almost comforting. Anna, Daniel said, his voice low. Are you safe here? Really safe? I swallowed hard. I think so. I don't know how to feel. My hands twisted in my lap. Everything is a mess, he nodded slowly. Tell me. I hesitated, then let it all spill. Ethan and Lily. They betrayed me. I found out last week. I couldn't breathe. I've been walking in circles, panicking, crying Emily help me, but it still hurts. And now I paused, my voice shaking. I'm pregnant. Daniel's eyes softened, but he didn't interrupt. I felt a little relief just for that silence. I'm scared, I admitted. I don't want him near my baby. I don't know how to be a mother and protect everything at the same time. He leaned back, studying me. Anna, you're doing everything right by thinking ahead. Protecting your child, protecting yourself, that's strength, I whispered. Thank you for listening. He cleared his throat, a small, almost human crack in his stoic demeanor. I should tell you something, he said slowly. I know a little about this feeling. I raised my eyebrows. My ex-fiancée, Ava, she cheated on me with my cousin. I thought I knew trust. I thought I knew love until it all shattered. His voice broke for a moment, and I felt the words more than heard them. I didn't know what to say. I hadn't expected him to open up like this. I'm sorry. Daniel shook his head. Don't be. It's my story, not yours. I just wanted you to know that betrayal isn't a reflection of your worth. People hurt because of who they are, not because of what you lacked. I nodded, trying to absorb the comfort in his words. It's just hard to believe anyone could care without wanting something from you. He smiled faintly. I care about your safety. That's enough for now. Suddenly, the room swayed. My knees buckled. Daniel, I whispered. I can't. He caught me instantly, arms steady. Anna, breathe. You're going to be okay. But my body was too weak. I fainted against him. When I woke, I was in a hospital bed. The bright lights made me squint, and then I saw him, Daniel, sitting beside me, holding my hand firmly. Dr. Harper appeared a moment later. The baby is fine, she said gently. No complications. You just need rest, I exhaled shakily. Thank God, my voice was barely audible. Thank God the baby is okay. Daniel didn't speak, but he squeezed my hand. I'm not leaving, he finally said. Not until you're stable. I blinked at him, realizing how much that simple promise meant. You don't have to do this, I whispered. He shook his head. I want to. You need someone you can rely on. I'll be here. For the first time since everything fell apart, I didn't feel alone. My body was weak, my heart still trembling, but knowing someone truly cared, who wasn't going to betray me, shifted something inside me. Maybe I could start to breathe again? Thank you, I whispered, letting a tear slip down my cheek. For everything. Daniel didn't answer right away. He just stayed calm and steady, his presence filling the empty spaces I hadn't realized were hollow. It was strange, this feeling of safety. A feeling I had thought I'd lost forever. And yet I felt it again for the first time in months, maybe years. Daniel's presence had become a quiet constant in my life. Every day he checked on me, bringing tea, small snacks, things I hadn't realized I needed. Eat this, he said one morning, setting a granola bar on my desk. You're skipping meals again. I'm fine, I whispered, trying to push it away. He raised an eyebrow, calm but firm. No, you're not. Eat, I sighed, finally taking a bite. Thank you, I mumbled. Emily peeked into the office later, grinning. I see him. You know, Daniel Reed, he's more than just your boss. I flushed immediately. Emily, stop teasing me. I'm just saying, she said, smirking. He takes care of you. That's not normal for a CEO. I can handle myself, I said quickly, hiding the flutter in my chest. Sure you can, she whispered, shaking her head as she left. Daniel had noticed nothing, or maybe he was ignoring it. He had a way of looking calm and unreadable, but there were moments, small ones, where I caught a softness in his eyes, a patient gentleness I hadn't expected from anyone. One afternoon, as I shuffled through papers, nausea hit again. My hand flew to my stomach. Not again, I whispered. Daniel appeared instantly. Go sit, he said. He guided me to a chair, steadying me. Do not move until you're okay. I'm fine, I protested. No, he said firmly, his tone softening. You're not fine. You need to rest. I stayed seated, feeling ridiculous but strangely comforted by his insistence. Meanwhile, the world outside my little bubble refused to calm. Ethan's calls were relentless. Every buzz on my phone made my stomach drop. And Lily, her social media was unbearable. Fake quotes about self-love, smiling in photos like she was the victim in this story. I clenched my jaw, scrolling quickly. Do you want to talk about it? Daniel asked softly, sitting across from me. No, I whispered. He nodded. Okay, but I'm here if you need me. His presence was grounding. But I couldn't allow myself to admit it. I couldn't trust anyone. Not after everything. Later, Emily dropped by again. Stop pretending you're fine. He likes you. I nearly choked. Emily, that's ridiculous. She laughed. Sure it is, but he cares, Anna. Pay attention. He doesn't just care because it's his job. I swallowed hard, refusing to respond. Daniel walked past the office door at that moment and my pulse skipped. He glanced at me briefly, voice low as he stopped beside my desk. Anna, I looked up, heart pounding. Do you want someone to stand with you? He asked softly. I froze. Someone you can rely on? I didn't answer immediately. The words felt heavy. I had been hurt, betrayed, left alone when I needed support the most. How could I trust anyone again? But then I looked at him steady, calm, not demanding, just present, and a small, strange warmth spread through me. I started but couldn't finish. He nodded once, silently. Take your time. I'll be here. Even though I didn't fully understand it, I felt safe. Safer than I had in months. Safer than I'd felt with anyone in a long time. I looked down at my hands and whispered to myself, maybe I can let someone in again. Maybe I can trust just a little. And for the first time in a long while, I allowed myself to breathe without fear. I was filing papers when the door to the office slammed open. My heart jumped. Ethan. His face was red, eyes wild. Anna! He screamed. I froze. Ethan, what? You're pregnant. He yelled. That baby, it's mine, right? You can't hide it. My hands trembled. Don't come near me. He ignored me, taking a step forward. This is my child. You can't just... Before he could grab me, Daniel appeared behind him. In one swift motion, he grabbed Ethan by the collar and dragged him back. Out! Daniel's voice was low, dangerous. Daniel, don't you understand? It's mine. Ethan screamed, thrashing against him. Enough! Daniel shouted, his grip iron strong. Leave now! I took a shaky breath, watching Ethan's furious eyes burn into mine. Stay away from me, I whispered. And my baby. Don't you dare come near us again. Ethan's lips trembled, but he said nothing more. Daniel shoved him out the door, then turned back to me. Are you okay? I shook, tears sliding down my cheeks. I don't think I can breathe. He came closer, holding my shoulders firmly. Breathe with me, he said. In out and out, I obeyed, my body shaking violently. Why does he think he can? I stopped, trying to control my panic. He doesn't get to make that choice, Daniel said quietly. You do. You always do. I nodded, swallowing hard. The trembling eased slightly, though my hands still shook. Thank you, I whispered. The office door opened again. Lily, she stepped inside, her usual saccharine smile plastered across her face. Anna, she said softly, I'm sorry. I narrowed my eyes. For what, Lily? Betraying me? Sleeping with my husband? Destroying everything I trusted? Her smile faltered. I didn't mean... No, I said sharply, standing taller despite the shaking in my legs. I don't forgive you. Not now. Not ever. Her expression changed instantly, the sweetness dropping like a mask. You think you're better than me? She hissed. You think you're strong? You're pathetic. I felt my hands clench, my body trembling uncontrollably. Stay away from me, I whispered, my voice barely audible over the pounding in my chest. You're weak, she shouted. Weak like always. Ethan left you because you can't fight. You'll ruin your life and that baby too. I shook, trying to stop my teeth from chattering. I will protect my baby, I whispered. And myself. The office felt like it was spinning. My legs were too weak to stand. The room blurred and I could barely inhale. Then I felt someone's strong hands on my shoulders. Anna, Daniel said softly, his voice grounding me. I'm right here. You're safe. I blinked up at him, tears streaking my cheeks. I can't. You can, he said firmly. Breathe. You're not alone. Look at me. You're okay. I took a shuddering breath, following his lead. I think so. He squeezed my shoulders gently. Good, that's enough for now. You don't have to face them alone. The room felt quieter after that, though Lily had stormed off, leaving a bitter scent of cruelty behind. Ethan's shadow had passed, but the memory of his rage lingered. I leaned slightly into Daniel's side, letting him steady me. Thank you, I whispered. He didn't answer. He just held me there, solid, unyielding, like a wall between me and the chaos. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like maybe I could survive this. I shivered, my body still trembling, but I knew one thing for certain. I wasn't alone. And no one would hurt me or my baby while he was here. The knock on my apartment door made my heart skip. I wasn't expecting anyone. I hesitated, then opened it. Daniel stood there, calm as ever, but the faintest hint of a smile softened his stern features. "Hi," he said quietly. "Daniel, what are you doing here?" I asked, my voice a mix of surprise and caution. "I wanted to check on you," he said simply. "May I come in?" I hesitated, then stepped aside. "Okay, but just for a little while." He walked in, taking off his coat and hanging it carefully. "Thank you," he said, his voice gentle. We sat on the couch, the silence heavy but not uncomfortable. Finally, he spoke. "How are you feeling?" I shrugged. "Scared, exhausted, and I don't know how to be a mom and not fall apart." Daniel nodded, listening carefully. "You don't have to have all the answers right now." "I know," I whispered, "but it feels impossible sometimes." "Ethan, Lily, the betrayal, it never really leaves you alone." He leaned forward slightly. "I can't undo what happened. I can't fix that, but I can be here now. And I want to be here for your baby and you if you'll let me." I swallowed hard. "Be here how?" "Even in a small way," he said softly. "I don't expect anything. Just allow me to stay in your life, protect you, care for you. That's all I ask." I looked down, my fingers twisting together. "I want to, but I'm scared. I've been hurt. I don't know if I can trust anyone ever again." He nodded, not pushing me. "You don't have to trust me today," he said. "Just let me stay. Let me be here. That's enough for now." I felt a warmth spread through my chest, something I hadn't felt in months. It was quite gentle, but it made my heart race. "You really mean that?" "I do," he said, his eyes steady and sincere. "No games, no expectations. Just support." I hesitated, then whispered, "I don't know if I'm ready for anything more than that." He smiled faintly. "You don't have to be. We'll take it one step at a time. That's all that matters." A nervous laugh escaped me. "It feels strange to feel safe again." "I know," he said softly. "And you deserve it. You deserve someone who won't hurt you, who won't leave you alone in the dark." I felt my chest tighten, and suddenly his hand reached out and brushed against mine. "Daniel," I whispered. "I care about you," he said quietly, almost hesitantly. "More than I probably should." "I can't ignore it anymore." My breath caught. "You what?" "I have feelings for you, Anna," he admitted, his voice low and steady. "I'm not expecting anything from you yet. Just for you to know." A warmth spread through me, soft and steady, melting some of the walls I'd built around my heart. "I don't know what to say," I admitted. "Then don't say anything," he said gently. "Just let me stay." "That's enough." I nodded slowly, a small smile forming despite the lingering fear. "Okay, I can do that." He squeezed my hand lightly. "That's all I need." For the first time in a long time, I felt hope. Not the fragile, fleeting kind, but something steady, something real. And for the first time in months, I allowed myself to imagine a future where I wasn't alone, where I could trust, even just a little, and maybe just maybe be happy again. I never expected the final chapter of my nightmare to play out so quietly. Ethan's world started unraveling the moment he tried to attack Daniel at a corporate event. Security had dragged him out, and by the next morning he had lost his job. I didn't feel triumphant, just a strange emptiness. Is he even worth thinking about anymore? I whispered to myself, staring out the window. Then, like a cruel echo, Lily appeared. Her face was painted with fake sorrow. "Anna, please, I was wrong. I can't live without you in my life. I just want to make things right." I shook my head, feeling the tremor of old pain. "You betrayed me," I said quietly. "You hurt me. You destroyed my trust. You don't get to come back now." Her lips tightened, her act cracking. "You think you're better than me?" she hissed. "You think you're strong? You're nothing without Ethan." I straightened, finally feeling the power I hadn't known I had. "No, Lily," I said firmly. "I'm not nothing, and you're my past." "You were my past." "My child is my future." Her face fell, the cruel mask slipping entirely. "So you're just done?" "Yes," I whispered. "Completely done." She left without another word. I didn't look back. My hands still shook, but this time it was from the finality of my own choice. Then Ethan called once, twice. I ignored him. He left voicemails begging, threatening, pleading. I didn't respond. He couldn't touch me anymore, not my heart, not my child. Daniel appeared beside me later that day, his presence solid and reassuring. You okay? He asked softly, as if he already knew the answer. I think so, I said, my voice trembling a little. It feels strange, freeing. He nodded, reaching for my hand. That's because you are free. You deserve this. I looked down at our joined hands, warmth spreading from his touch. I never thought I'd get here. I thought I'd always be broken, afraid to trust again. You're not broken, he said firmly. You're stronger than you know. You just needed someone who wouldn't hurt you, someone who would stand with you. And I'm not going anywhere. I swallowed hard, blinking back tears. I'm scared still, but with you, maybe I can try again. Maybe I can believe in something real. He squeezed my hand, gentle but steady. You don't have to believe everything at once. Just believe a little at a time. That's enough. Months passed, and life grew quiet but sweet. My days were no longer haunted by betrayal or lies. Ethan and Lily were gone. My heart only had space for my child, and Daniel someone who truly cared, who was patient, steady, and kind. One afternoon, during a checkup at Dr. Harper's office, Daniel held my hand. You ready? He asked softly. I nodded, laying back on the examination table. Dr. Harper smiled. Let's see our little one. A sudden flutter inside me made me gasp. The baby kicked for the first time. I froze, feeling the tiny movement, the undeniable proof of life inside me. Daniel's thumb brushed over my hand. Did you feel that? He whispered. I nodded, tears spilling down my cheeks. Yes, it's real. He smiled softly, eyes shining. Just like this life. Real, safe hours. I leaned slightly into him, feeling the steady beat of his heart against mine. I never imagined it could be like this, I admitted. I thought pain would define me forever. Daniel shook his head. It doesn't. You led yourself here. You chose your future. And I'll be right here with you. The baby kicked again, and I laughed softly, clutching Daniel's hand tightly. This is what I want, I whispered. Stability, respect, love that doesn't hurt. A future that's real. He smiled, brushing a strand of hair from my face. Then this is what we'll have. Together. For the first time in months, maybe years, I felt peace settle in my chest. The past was gone, the betrayal behind me. I had found something real, someone who would never leave, someone who stood with me, and the life I had longed for finally began. And as my baby kicked again, I knew this was the beginning of a story I never expected, but one I wanted more than anything.